So Anne has asked us, do vultures mate for life? No, and they do not. With vultures, males will mate with different females and vice versa, because you get many different vultures. So, well, the same species will mate with each other, obviously. There's no interbreeding between species, but a male will have a number of different females that he will mate with during his lifespan, because vultures come in from different areas. They don't always stay together in flocks. The vultures, whenever they find food, vultures from different areas will come through to feed on it. So from these really large birds sitting on the ground, James has another bird which is on the ground but not as big.
Hello everybody, especially the teachers of the Virginia Beach Technical Teachers Conference, if I've got that correct. Very good to have you with us. That there is a crested francolin, a very small bird, well, not very small bird. It's about, say, 10 inches long. And it's just knocking about the place looking for things to eat. Now, I can hear another one, alarm calling up ahead, and we were in this area hoping to find a leopard. I'm just going to go around the corner and see if it isn't shouting at a leopard. Those birds will make a very obvious alarm call. Can you hear that? Bird getting very, very angry indeed. Just round the corner here. We'll keep an eye on the road for tracks. Keep a look out here for the spotted golden pelage of a leopard. Sounded a little bit further in here. Let's just turn off here and listen. You'll hear it going. I don't see any tracks here. I don't hear any other birds alarm calling. So we'll just drive a little bit along this road, see if we can pick anything up, otherwise we'll turn around and come back that way. Hello Christy. You say, what is the temperature here? Well, it's midwinter, Christy. It's freezing cold. It's 22 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm, of course, being completely facetious. It's a delicious temperature, and winter is wonderful here. 72 degrees in midwinter is not too bad. Okay, I don't see any tracks here, so we're going to turn around and go back the way. Let's see if we don't come up with something. And then I believe there are some elephants heading towards a waterhole not too far from here. And if they're still around, we'll head there. We're not too far from there. Hello Eric, nice to hear from you again. You say, how much training do we need to do this job? Eric, it really does depend on your experience and I guess your aptitude. To learn to take a game drive is not rocket science. I mean, you can probably learn it in about 12 weeks or so. You can teach somebody to take a passable game drive. To do what we do, I think, is a little bit more difficult because you know, you're not taking a game drive for 6 new people every 2 days, and so I think you do need a slightly deeper knowledge than you would for a standard issue safari guide. But so I'd say about a year's experience would be very useful for something like this. But the more experience that you have doing a job doing a job in the bush, the better it is, and the more easy you're going to find it to explain things to people. Because of course, if you've got thousands of people watching, the varied nature of the questions is such that, you know, you've got to have a pretty good idea of what's going on in the ecology of the area in order to be able to answer all the queries that people have. Thanks for that, Eric. Now, just to give you a little story, I don't know how long you've been watching us, I don't think very long. There was a leopard cub, or 2 leopard cubs and their mother around this area this morning, and I don't know if it was the same group watching us yesterday afternoon when we had those little leopard cubs. They haven't moved far from there, and this is a different group, okay, and we're hoping we might pick them up again sometime during the course of the afternoon. She's left the cubs to go off hunting. They're sitting in the top of a tree at the moment. We're not going to disturb them for now. And we're just going to hope that the mum goes back there sometime soon to see about her babies. But just up ahead, we should have some elephants. Kirsty, are they still there? Kirsty is our director. She is in my ear, asking me all questions. Hello Amy, a nice question from you and a sad answer to it. You want to know, do we see rhino on drive? We do sometimes see rhino, Amy. We don't film them though, because of the scourge of poaching. We don't want to have any effect on that by perhaps indicating to potential poachers where rhinos may be. I don't think we'd necessarily have an effect, but if there is the smallest chance that we might have an effect, then we obviously don't want to do that. And so we don't show them on drive. We see them from time to time, but we don't show them. Sometimes it can result in some fairly amusing situations, like Brian was just reminiscing about. Brian's on camera, by the way. He was just reminiscing the other day. Well, I came around a corner like this. In fact, it was just down where we were now. Came around the corner, there was a rhino sitting in front of the road, and normally if you spot it, you just kind of pan the camera off gently, but because the rhino was right there, there was nothing we could do about it. And I went back to my childhood. You know, when a kid hides its face and it thinks you can't see it, so you say, you know, where's Max, for example, and Max will hide his face and think that you can't see him. Well, I did exactly that. What happened was, the rhino was in front of the car, so I dived underneath the dashboard like that. I don't know why I did that. It was utterly ridiculous. Anyway, so that's the amusing side of the rhino story, which is in fact a very sad one. Rhino poaching in this area, not too bad at the moment. In fact, it's pretty good. It's much better than it was. Alright, while we're going to these elephants, let's head across to Byron. He's got some wildebeest to show you.
So we're on the clearings now on Cheetah Plains, and we have got a few wildebeest out here. It's a really wonderful open area, so a lot of these, we refer to them as plains game. Zebra, wildebeest, impala, they like these open areas. Especially in the evenings, I'll come and sleep out here because it's easier to look for potential predators that might be wandering through. They can warn each other and get away much easier as opposed to being in a thicket. Now, it's just beautiful light. This afternoon light on these wildebeest, it's been great on all the animals, but with them spread out in the clearing, it's wonderful to see them. And this is the area that James had the cheetah in this morning. I've been scanning around, but no sign of them. I think they've possibly moved off. They were on our boundary with another reserve south of us, and I think perhaps they moved south. There's a waterhole a little bit closer on their side, and I think maybe those cheetah went and had a drink and found a spot to rest for the day. And these wildebeest seem very relaxed. Even though a cheetah is unlikely to hunt wildebeest, they would still alarm call and make a noise if they saw the cheetah, and that alarm call is a grunting gnu sound, and that's how they get the name gnu. In some parts of Africa, you'll hear people call them gnu. It's because of that nasal grunt that they give to warn each other that there might be potential danger around, or that there is a predator around, and that's how they avoid them. But these wildebeest seem very relaxed. And as I said, even though they are probably a little bit too large for cheetah, but they will still alarm call because it is a predator. I'm just going to scan these clearings a little bit more. You never know, maybe the cheetah are lying in the shade somewhere. While I do that, James has got larger grey animals for you.
Here we are, everybody, the elephants, as promised, a cow. Young bull getting irritated by the impala that are also trying to have a drink. And there's a massive herd coming down now to drink as well. It's the second herd that's been here. There they come. This is wonderful. Now, Heather, it's a difficult question to answer. You've said how many elephants are there typically in a herd? Heather, the smallest herd that we have seen here is 4, and it was 3 at one stage. and then you'll get herds of sort of 10 or 12 is probably the most normal sized herd. It's females, closely related females and their offspring. So the really big herds that you see are normally not, they're normally groups of herds, if you know what I mean. So a larger grouping of lots of different sort of family herds who may or may not be related. She's a stocky lady, isn't she, Brian? She might be described as dumpy, even. She won't be pleased to hear me say that. Yes. Look, they're talking to each other. This is wonderful. I don't know if you can hear that. They're going... They'll know each other, but they won't be very close. So it's like a real cheerful meeting, and you saw the little ones running up to say hello to the strangers, or their cousins perhaps, distant relatives. Oh, beautiful. This is a fantastic sighting, everyone. This does not happen every day. This is just brilliant. The little ones. How wonderful is this? Hello, Jamie. You want to know how you tell the age of an elephant, Jamie? It's got... Look at them climbing on each other there, Brian. Jamie, it's largely through experience, you know. You can tell your basic rules. For example, like an elephant under a year old will be able to fit under its mother's belly. The tusks erupt around about 18 months to 2 years, so you can see them then. But that will be extremely variable. Size, of course, is a really good way of telling, because they never stop growing, elephants. And especially big bull elephants, you can tell almost entirely from their age, at least from their size. Now, Christy, you wanted to know, while things are settling down here, you want to know how big the area is that we're operating in. We operate on 3 different reserves. One is 2,000 hectares. One is 1,200 hectares, 3,000 acres. One is 850 hectares, which is about 2,000 acres. It's all very difficult doing all the conversions. And one's about 600 hectares, or 1,500 acres. So all in all, 6,500 acres is what we operate on. And then, Chrissy, you wanted to know how old an elephant can live to. They live to about 65 in this area, if they're very lucky. Probably closer to 60 normally. This is an incredible sighting, everybody. We don't have this every day. This is just wonderful. Elephants everywhere you look. This, dare I say it, slightly dumpy cow is he's not that pleased with us, and you can tell by the way she's kind of shielding the rest of them from us, and by the way she looks at us with her ears open. Isn't that an amazing sound? This is just brilliant. And Lisa, you want to know how many babies an elephant can have in its life. Lisa, they can have, let's work it out. So they're fertile when they're about 9 years old, so let's call it 10 to make it easy. Let's say a cow lives until she's 60 years old, right? And so that gives her a breeding time of about 50 years. Say she's not fertile from about age 50, so that gives her a breeding time of about 40 years. And she'll have a calf roughly every 5 years or so. So about 8, maybe 8, if she was particularly successful, 8 calves. Yeah, this female is not that happy with us. The rest of them are paying absolutely no attention to us whatsoever. But she's not that cheerful. And the reason I say she's dumpy is that she's a little bit short, and she's got very short legs, very unusually short legs. There's a little baby suckling. And I'm very sorry, everybody at the conference, we have to say goodbye to you. Sorry about that, but we're going to stay right here. She's the matriarch of this first little herd, definitely. She's now leading them away. She's not young. She's old. She's probably... Look at that. She's told them to move, and off they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I don't know why they've suddenly moved off like that. Isn't that amazing? You may have heard the popping of elephant flatulence as they moved off. That is bizarre that they just suddenly decided it was time to head off. There are a whole lot more opposite there, Brian. They're also starting to move now. There is so much about these animals that we do not understand. I don't know why they've moved. I don't know why they would have chosen to move off. Who gave the command? Whether it was something from much, much further away. We know elephants can communicate over vast distances. I'm astounded. That was really odd. It was like it was, come guys, let's get away from here. Something's up. Something's dangerous. May have been us, I suppose. And maybe that one cow gave the warning because we were here, and she felt, because she's the matriarch, she didn't like the cut of our jib, as it were, and so she told everybody, this is not good, we're in danger here, we need to move. But certainly everybody listened to her completely. So that's the one herd that's gone off down the road there, we can't see them anymore, and this is the second herd that came up here. And they're coming back now, actually. They're coming back to have a drink. Brian, you see that cow there, just behind where the old dam cam is? I think she's the matriarch of this herd. I think she's looking after them. It's fascinating. Anyway, here's a young bull. He's decided he's having a drink. He doesn't care. Look at that. Sharon, you're in Memphis and wondering about the shape of the elephant's back, and that cow that walked past, the matriarch, the dumpy one, certainly gave cause to ask a question like this. Why do they have that shape of spine? Is it totally normal? Does it confer some sort of advantage? It is totally normal. Hers was particularly pronounced, I think, because she's quite old. I also think she might be carrying another baby. No, she couldn't have been, actually, because she was suckling that one, so I don't think she was carrying another baby at all. But it is totally normal. I don't think it makes, they have it, I don't think it's an adaptation for anything in particular, no. But it is totally normal. You can see how that one sticks out, and I'm sure it's just a design that is mechanically effective for carrying around the weight that they have to. Obviously elephants weigh an enormous amount, 6 tons in the case of a very big bull, 4.5 tons for a big cow. And now suddenly peace reigns completely. It's just delightful. Beautiful. I'm not going to start the car because it'll disturb him. He's on his own. He'll become nervous. So, I mean, I know ideally we'd like to be the other side of him. Now, what's interesting here also is that the elephants have chosen to drink out of this pan. They don't normally. They're normally extremely reticent to drink out of here. But we haven't had a lot of buffalo activity here for a while. We haven't had a huge amount of... There hasn't been a hippo in here, of course. And when the hippo and the buffalo were in this pan during the height of our drought, it really was a fetid, disgusting sort of cesspool. And the elephants refused to drink out of it. They wouldn't. They'd come here, they'd throw a bit of the water over their skins during the heat, and then they'd go off and find some cleaner water. They didn't like it. Now they seem to be slightly less fussy about the whole thing. And all of those elephants have now disappeared completely. All right, we're going to go back to around about where those cubbies were and see if we can't see if Karula's back. While we do that, go back to Byron and have a look at his stripy ponies.
They are not ponies, James. They are zebra. And look at the golden light on them at the moment. And it's nice, as I was saying earlier, you get wildebeest and zebra often on these clearings. And that is what we call a dazzle of zebra. A group of zebra are known as a dazzle. It's really, really great to see them out in the open like that. They are beautiful. I love seeing zebra walking across a plain like this in the clearings. Just scanning around. This is the area that we had cheetah in this morning. Or James had cheetah, and it's very open. It's very difficult. It could be anywhere, and there's a lot of other animals around here. Would have thought maybe they'd alert us to them, but let's just scan. We'll scan around. Even David's scanning for me, and we'll check and see. Hang on a second. Hang on. I'm using binoculars, so it's a bit easier for me. But I think I've spotted cheetah for us. Hold on, let me see if I can get us into a better position. A little bit, hold on. Oh, that would be fantastic. If we got some cheetah this afternoon, that would be incredible. Just give me a second. If it is a cheetah log, I'm sure Kirsten and Chelsea in the final control will give me a lot of stick for it. Let me just see from this angle. Hold on. Let me just check. It is a cheetah. Hold on. Okay. It is a cheetah. It is a cheetah. David, hang on a second. I think maybe from up here I might have a better view. It is tough because of the angle. Just hold on a second. Let me pass these trees. Hold on. A lot of bushes in the way. I'm just trying to find a nice gap for us. Oh. Hang on. Let me go back again. Sorry, everyone. It's not easy, but it's definitely cheetah. Hang on. Oh dear. I thought this angle would be a bit better to see them, but it's not at all. There's a lot more. Keep going. There we go. And zoom in over there on the ground.
That's all we got, eh?
That's all we got. Oh, can you all see it though? In the center of the screen. There's the cheetah. Right in the center. You can see it moving there. There we go. Sure, well, we got to see our cheetah. That's incredible. But, yeah, it's quite far south of the boundary. Unfortunately, we can't drive across there. I don't want to move too much. It looks like, and I'm almost certain, it's one of the males that James saw this afternoon. I saw movement of another one just off to the right. It's not easy, but you can definitely see a bit of movement there. Yeah, almost exactly in the center of the screen, just right of that tree. So both males still in that area. And still hanging around these clearings. These are beautiful clearings for We're going to wait here and just see. Maybe these cheetah get up and move closer towards us. While we do that, James is still sitting with some elephant.
Look at this, everyone. It's that same young bull that was drinking. He's only standing now about maybe 5 meters from us. That's about 15 feet. And he's entertaining himself, I think. I think he's having a good time. And he's shaking his head a bit and he's thrown some dust upon himself. And it's just wonderful to have him here. Isn't he great? Lovely. Get out of your way. And shaking his head because he's not really sure if he wants to show us how big and tough he is. Isn't that cool? This is fantastic. Oh, wow. He's smelling. Look at his amazing nose. Look at that. Smelling. And he's close to us. And I think he's just bored. He's just simply bored stiff of having to walk around eating food all day. Now he's got an opportunity for a little bit of argy-bargy, a little bit of interaction. And we really do appreciate it. Just listen carefully next time he puts his foot down. Just how softly he puts it down. Look at him smelling there, reaching out for individual plants. He'll decide from the smell of them whether he thinks they're nice to eat or not. Did you hear that? Chuk, chuk. That's so cool. Just listen. This is just wonderful. Now, I'm just going to give you an idea while he plays with us here. Just over his back is where we left those cubs, about 300 meters from here, 1,000 feet. Exactly opposite to that, I can hear, well, first of all we heard some baboons alarm calling. I can now hear impala alarm calling closer than the baboons were, and I wonder if that's not Karula making her way back in this direction. It's probably well worth our while to just hang about here for a while. You hear that, Brian? No, you wouldn't. You've got your cans on. He is too cool, this guy. Hello. He's got little booties, as Brian pointed out. Look. Gee whiz. Brian, 3 meters maybe? 2 meters? I think he's got a runny tummy. He's certainly been quite flatulent.
Looks like he does.
He does, yes. A bit of diarrhea. That is probably not, I'm sort of making light of it, but it's probably because he's eating plants he might not normally, and I suspect that's because, well, that would be because of the drought. Stunning. Ruth, I'm going to reverse a little bit and then I'm going to get you to take a very deep breath in. I've lost my microphone. It's an absolute disaster. Ruth, you want to know what they smell like? Elephants, Ruth, smell only like elephants. That is completely unhelpful to you, of course. It's sort of, I'd normally describe it as sort of sweet leather. So if you imagine like a saddle, and if you've smelled a saddle before, or yeah, it's like some raw leather, and then mixed a little bit with the scent of honey. I think that's pretty much what it smells like. Brian, how would you describe it?
Very similar. Definitely something big and leathery.
Yes, big and leathery, and nothing else smells like an elephant except an elephant. It really is difficult to describe it. But think of it as a sort of flavored. Let's just enjoy him for a little bit longer. And just watch and see if the queen doesn't pop out. Kevin, can you hear the baboons, everybody? Going, oh! Kevin, I'll get back to you. You want to know what elephants use their nails for? Kevin, elephants, I don't know what they use them for. I don't think, he won't maintain those nails. They'll fall off eventually. And you don't see big bulls with their nails like that. I can only think that they maybe are sort of vestigial parts of their evolution, that they perhaps used them to dig a bit with. You've seen how he was kicking bits of plant out there. That is so cool. So Kevin, I don't know, maybe he uses them to dig. Or maybe they used to use them to dig, I don't know. Right, the sun has just about set. I just want to go and have one quick last look and see if those cubbies have been picked up by the mum. Otherwise, we'll just sort of drive around this area and see if she doesn't pitch up at some stage. What a wonderful elephant sighting that was, so cool. I don't know, I get the feeling so often that with elephants there is I hate the use of the term intelligence, because it's so kind of what do I want to say? It's limiting. When we refer to intelligence, we basically refer to Western IQ is what we consider as intelligence, and I think it's insulting to say animals are either intelligent or unintelligent, because it's based on our sort of impressions of what's clever and what isn't. But I think elephants' intelligence mirrors our own in many respects, and that's why we feel this incredible connection with them. And there was one hesitates to say it, but there was a communication going on there between us and that elephant bull, and I don't know what it meant. It certainly meant a great deal to Brian and I in terms of the fact that we just enjoyed it, but I don't know what it meant to him. We can guess, but it was just you don't have that with other animals. Buffalo just sort of stare at you a bit and then they go and then they run off, or they just stand there or lie down and chew their cud. And while they might be having an interaction with you, they're not nearly as expressive, for example, as the elephants are. And likewise the cats. They'll sit up and they'll look at you. Tell vaguely what's going on. Alright, let's go across to Byron. My signal's a bit dodgy on the cubs.
So unfortunately those cheetah just moved a little bit further south, not too far, but we couldn't see them anymore. So unfortunately we had to move out of the area, but at least we got to see them. Really, really great to see the cheetah. But I've got another surprise for you. Hang on a second. So we were talking about all these vultures that we saw earlier. And the reason for that is there were lions that had a kill. And I think one of the lionesses has popped out. Yes, there she is. I'm going to move into a position for us so that you can see them. I'll see her. Looks like she's by herself at the moment. Don't see anyone. Another lion here. I'm not sure where the carcass is. Oh, but yeah, she is. Right, straight in front of us. Hang on a second. Yeah, I see the carcass. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Can you see that? There we go. Look at that. Beautiful lioness. How lucky are we? Just looking around to see where this carcass is. I think the buffalo carcass, yeah, it is a buffalo that they've killed, and it's under the tree. Move my head out the way. There we go. So they're very, very clever, these lions. What she's done is she's dragged it under the tree to keep it out of reach of the vultures. She doesn't want to share her kill with vultures. And apparently this morning James had more lions around here. And there you can see the vultures in the trees waiting, just waiting for a potential chance to get some food. They will not come down in the evening, and they don't feed at night. Vultures will wait there till tomorrow and until this lioness has moved off. And then she will come back, or the vultures will come down and feed. But while the lions are here, generally they don't, because the lions will get up and chase the vultures. I've seen that a few times. Not too sure where the other lions are. They've moved off. But nice to see this beautiful lioness here. You can see the full belly. She's had a lot to eat. So it's really, really great for these lions to have a good meal. I'm not too sure which lions or which pride these lions belong to. Always wonderful to see them. I understand James wasn't too sure either, so that's okay. As long as we're both not sure. If one of us knows, then it's a problem. Still trying to recover from that run that we had earlier. Wonder how James is feeling. You can see the flies around the ears and on the back of this lioness. And we had a question this morning about, or one of the viewers asked if it was mosquitoes. It's not mosquitoes, it's flies. It's just different species of flies. And they sit on most animals, especially the predators. You can imagine they don't smell particularly good. There you can see some of the flies around. Because these predators, even though they do clean and groom themselves, there's still a lot of carrion. They've got a carrion smell, you know, especially when they are on buffalo kills and they're feeding. They get a bit of blood on them, and that does tend to stink after a while, and that attracts the flies. So they'll do whatever they can to try and get those flies away. They'll go and roll in the sand, or they'll try and lie in the thickets. Hopefully the flies don't bother them as much, but you'll see every now and then she flicks her ears because the flies are bothering her a little bit. It's not so bad in winter. Summer it's a little bit worse. So Cecilia has asked, what is it about lions that makes them so much more smelly than other big cats? I don't think it's a case of them being more smelly than the others. You can get a pungent smell from all these animals, Cecilia. So I think just the fact that, especially now with them being close to a kill, that smell, and with them feeding and the blood and all of that on them, then that smell is a little bit stronger. But once they've groomed themselves and they've moved off and they've drunk some water, that smell isn't as bad. But they do still have they're not going to be clean, you know. They are still slightly dirty, and they do have a slightly pungent smell, stronger smell. You can smell it with antelope and all the animals. I mean, you can smell if buffalo have moved through an area. You can smell if elephant have moved through an area. With the predators, our sense of smell is not very good. So we might not pick up on it as much as other animals will. So antelope or different species of maybe buffalo or elephant, they'll pick up on the smell of predators very, very easily because their sense of smell is so much better than ours. We have had a great afternoon. Elephant and buffalo, cheetah, lions, zebra, wildebeest. James had leopard with cubs. He had a hippo, more elephant. It's all been happening. The last 2 days have been amazing. I really hope you all know it's not always like this. At times it can be quiet on safari, where you don't see a lot of wildlife, but you do still enjoy being out in the bush. Wonderful smells and sounds, and it's just so peaceful. It's not to say if you don't see a lion that you are having a bad game drive. That's not the case at all. There's always something going on around you, from little mongoose, little insects, butterflies, birds. There's so much to look at and view, and also just appreciate. We really have to appreciate everything in nature. This lioness is obviously fed very well during the course of the day, or probably earlier this morning. I'm sure she would have fed at some point during the day again, but she seems very, very full. Not interested in feeding anymore. It doesn't look like it. Well, not for now, but I'm sure this evening she'll definitely get up and start feeding again. And who knows, the other lions that were around possibly come back and join her and finish this buffalo carcass. Lions and all predators will feed on their carcass until it's finished. They don't want to waste anything. And they also never know when their next kill is going to happen, so they'll get as much food as possible from a kill. They'll eat until they can't eat anymore, hang around, and then feed again later until that carcass is finished. We're losing a bit of light, but it sounds like James is back with the cubs. Quickly cross over to him and see what they were up to.
We're very briefly here, everybody. Just came to see if they were still here. One of them is, I don't know where the other one is. I think that they probably gone down the tree. They don't have to stay in the tree. We're not going to be here for more than probably another 2 minutes. It's getting dark now, so we're going to move away, just in case our presence here makes them upset, or perhaps attracts the attentions of a hyena. So we'll just sit here for a little while. I just want to quickly see if I can spot the other one. I think that's George. I don't think he's moved at all since we last saw him. But I can't see little Charlotte anywhere. She may well be on the ground. And she would, I mean, she'll range a bit. She will go to different trees around here. She may have even crossed the road behind us somewhere. And then what we're going to do is turn around and go back along this road and just see if Karula isn't coming this way. We move back a little, just give us a slightly different perspective on things. And I'm just going to check a termite mound behind us, because I know that Charlotte likes a termite mound, and Brother George there likes to be in the trees. Hello, Pallavi. Nice to have you with us. I'm not sure if I've spoken to you before. I think I have once. You say, when do the leopards leave their mothers? Well, the daughters, like our human daughters, go independent much more quickly than the males. They all go independent from about 8 months. That's very early, though. But there are records of leopards going independent at 8 months. And then the males normally sort of around a year to 18 months is when they start, but 18 months is more normal for the males. I'm just easing back here, rolling, just to see if we can't spot where little Charlotte has gone. There's a termite mound behind us that I'm looking at. I'm just looking into the tree there. I don't see her. Anyway, Okay, everyone, that's going to be it for the little cubbies today. We had a wonderful time with them. Very nice just to have a quick catch-up with them, and we'll now carry on back the way, back sort of towards Djuma Dam, and just see those baboons that were calling weren't shouting at their mother. I suspect Charlotte is in here somewhere. And HK, you want to know if leopards are successful hunters. Absolutely they're successful hunters, HK. They wouldn't survive otherwise. They probably kill about only maybe 3 out of 10 times that they chase. But that's pretty good. That's not a bad return. They're not quite as successful energetically as, say, wild dogs, which, although they do miss a lot, they do eat more per chase, for example, than most of the other animals. They seem to have hit a tree. Anyway, but yes, absolutely very successful. And you know, they're the most widely distributed of the big cats these days, and that's because they will eat just about anything. They will eat anything from termites up to lizards. They'll eat fish and frogs. They'll eat duiker and steenbok and impala, and up to sometimes very small giraffe they will eat. And I mean, there's a record in this area of an enormous male leopard called the Anderson male pulling a giraffe up into a tree, a dead giraffe, but he killed a small giraffe and then pulled it into a tree. So unbelievable strength there. Alright, let's go back to Byron, who seems to have left the flat cats. I don't know where those other cats have gone, where the other 2 males and the other females are. Anyway, let's go get a catch up with Byron. We'll just do a quick check here to see if we can find Karula.
Oh, the temperature's just dropped quite a bit. So we left that Lioness. She was resting really nicely there, and she didn't look like she was going to move anytime soon. No sign of the males that were with her this morning. It's very strange. I think possibly they've just moved into the thicket and lying down in the shade somewhere. I don't think they would have gone too far. Maybe they went to go have a look for some water to drink and then moved into a thicket close by, waiting, and later this evening could possibly join her again. But what we are going to do is now start making our way back towards Djuma and just see what we find along the way. We've had such a great afternoon, and as I said, the temperature's dropping now, and as soon as the sun goes down it starts cooling down quite a bit. I'm so glad James got to see those cubs again and show you those cubs. We are really lucky, or have been lucky, with the leopard sightings that we've had for the past 2 days. It's incredible to see a leopard with cubs. Very, very lucky. As I said earlier, I think James has had so much luck today. I might go rub his head or something later. Maybe he's got a lucky charm that I don't know about. So Roger from Tampa has asked us a question about the cheetah, and have the cheetah in the area been successful in raising cubs? Roger, I'm sorry, I'm not too sure. And the reason is, I've only been in this area for a short space of time, for the last week. But from what I understand and what I've heard from the other guys, there's not a lot of cheetah around. Now, cheetah have to compete, or not really compete, but they've got to be aware of a lot of other predators. So if there's a lot of hyena, a lot of lion, a lot of leopard activity, the cheetah population generally isn't very good, because they don't like so much competition, so they'll move off into other areas. I'm not too sure if they've had cheetah cubs in the area recently. Those 2 males have been around a lot. I know they have been seeing them, but maybe James can answer that a little bit later when you get back to him. Maybe he can tell you more about the cheetah that they've seen in the area for the past year or 2. Generally, if it's very open and the clearings are around, the cheetah do well. And I've just heard from Kirsten that they've hardly seen any cheetah around here. So, but again, I think that is because of the high predator population, there's a lot of lion, there's a lot of leopard, a lot of hyena, and that will generally cause cheetah to move off into other areas. So it's not easy for a cheetah. They're very low on the predator hierarchy. They don't do very well against competition because other predators will come in and chase them off a kill almost immediately, very, very easily. They're generally shy animals. They don't like confrontation, so they'll move away from an area if there's other predators around. So as far as I know, there haven't been a lot of cheetah cubs around, but in Kruger does still have a good and healthy cheetah population. And those cheetah, often what happens is they'll move out and they'll try and find new territories. I'm just trying to work out where I am because I'm on Cheetah Plains. It's a new area for me. Well, the whole of Djuma is actually, but I think I know where I am now. I did drive here the other day, so I've always got to keep a lookout for where you are and where you're going. Could be a cold night out here if we get lost. I know James was in search of Karula. I don't know if he managed to find her yet. Why don't you head back to him and get an update and see what he's up to?
We haven't, everybody. We've tried so very hard, haven't we, Brian? So very hard, but we've been unsuccessful. What we're going to do is go across the damn wall. Mahu! 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 Anyway, that's what the baboons were doing. So we're going to head to where they were doing that and see if they weren't going Mahu at Karula. Brian, would you like to try the baboon alarm calls? Wow. Here they are. The baboons have arrived. Wow. There we go. They're obviously not going a bahoo at the moment if they're on the ground. Let's see if we can view them from the damn wall. Baboons are enormous fun to watch. There are impalas having their drink now after the elephants chased them away. Duh. Duh. Kirsten says they are visible from the damn cam. Kirsten, where? Oh, there they are. Now they're going into the camp. Naughty things. There, look at the mother there with the baby on her back. Two mothers with their babies. I'm afraid we can't get any closer than this, everyone. As you can see, they will now start to seek out. See, as it gets drier and the big trees start to lose their leaves and food becomes more and more difficult to find, baboons start to come into these camps, and you've got to really lock things away, otherwise they become overexcited by the existence of food, and then there can be a little bit of trouble. They are incredibly powerful. They also apparently don't feel electric fences. Or they just take the hit. I think they just take the hit half the time. Or they learn very quickly. That's quite interesting. You can see that one is... it's not on the fence. It looked like it was on the fence. It's actually just climbed that branch. That was the fence. Now, of course, if you remember your physics from school, you'll know that unless you're connected to the ground, you won't be hit. So I think if you jump onto the fence, you should be okay. Right, we're going to go across to the dam cam view now. Thank you, Zumi, whoever you happen to be, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for the time that you give us. The Zumis, everybody, are the people who control the dam cam, and they do a great job. There you can see the baboon and her baby. And you Brian, that view there, you can see the Vuyatela camp deck. 2 baboons just went around the corner there. I suspect quite strongly. There we go. There we are. They're going to be looking in the window to see what mischief they can perform. They're like little gangs of burglars. Watch this. It knows it's doing no good. See it looking around to see if anyone's watching. We can see you. And you. Now, what they're doing down there. It's classic. Oh, onto the, what is that, the geyser or something. Oh, over the fence. It's like a raiding party going in. James Richard, nice one. Do baboons ever interact or bully vervet monkeys? Absolutely. They'll eat vervet monkeys if they can get hold of them. So vervet monkeys will avoid very carefully baboons. They are, I can't tell you how powerful they are. It's almost inconceivable when you think of it. And the analogy I always use is that of a pull-up. Now, many human beings can do a pull-up. On a pull-up, for those of you who don't know, is you hold on to a bar and pull yourself up, pull your chin over. Sometimes you call them chin-ups. Most men will be able to do a chin-up. Many women are able to do a chin-up. Very few men can do 20 chin-ups in a row. Very few women can do 20 chin-ups in a row. Almost no one in the world can do a one-arm... Look at it looking in the window there. Almost no one can do a one-armed pull-up. To be able to pull your own body weight up on one arm is incredible. A baboon will do probably 40 one-armed pull-ups without breaking a sweat. So their strength is quite astonishing. There we go, just sitting sentinel on the roof there. Yeah, this looks like a good spot for the night. No spiky thorns sticking in my bottom. I might just stay right here. You get a nasty shock when the guests come back there. Of course, not nearly as nasty as the shock the guests are going to get when they get back there and find 74 baboons enjoying their deck and the tree just next to it. And baboons can sometimes get quite cheeky in these camps, and you see that the one looking in the window there. You sometimes find guests sort of pinioned into their rooms under siege, with baboons knocking on the window trying to get inside because they've lost their fear of human beings. Laura, you want to know if these baboons would go for the leopard cubs. If they found those leopard cubs, the leopard cubs would be in trouble. Absolutely. They don't want anything to do with predators, these baboons, and certainly a leopard, a female leopard like Karula wouldn't go anywhere near a troop like this unless they were on the ground like that and really spread out, because the male baboons will take a leopard out and they'll chase a leopard. Even if she catches a small one, she'd have to kill it and leave it almost, and then run off and hopefully come back and fetch it, because she'd be chased off by the big male baboons. That was a very cross elephant behind us. Let's head along here and just do a little turn down Central Road, see if we can't pick up on that genet we had the other night, and perhaps Karula's coming back this way. HK, baboons are not endangered as a species, no, but in certain tourism circles they're endangered because people shoot them, because they become such an absolute menace. But they're absolutely not endangered, no. They're very healthy populations, fascinating animals, and if they don't lose their fear of human beings, they're perfectly safe to be around. They're wonderful creatures. And there's a baboon sanctuary not too far from here, up near Palaboa, and I went there once, and it was hilarious to watch these semi-domesticated baboons, because they're a raiding party basically, And so this rehab centre that was full of volunteers had to stay out. They had to lock absolutely everything away, or the baboons would come inside and pinch everything. But they can also be, I mean, if you keep them from young, they're not aggressive at all. Cats in Tampa, absolutely they can open doors. You want to know if they can open doors? Yep, they can. And I mean, there was a stage, Brent tells the story really nicely, of a time when at Singita Labombo they made the rooms out of glass, and they closed the doors with these magnets that you slid a key card through and the magnet released. And they put the braking power, the pull pressure of those magnets at about 600 pounds. Now that's just over 200 kilograms. And the baboons used to walk up to the door, pull it just slightly off the magnet. They were strong enough to do that, and then let it go. And the glass would then shatter into 100 pieces, and the baboons would walk in and have a field day. But I know at Londolozi, they learned how to open doors. I mean, you can teach a dog to open a door. They're much more intelligent than dogs are, so they can open doors. I don't think they can use a key. They certainly learned how to pull bolts across. So one of the things they did at Londolozi was to put bolts into the doors, and they learned to pull those. Then they put bolts with screws on them, so you had to unscrew them and then pull the bolt across. They figured that out as well. So they really are very clever indeed. You can see they've worked out how to get over that fence without getting zapped. Because there's quite a strong electric charge going to that fence. I was hit by it once. An extremely foul language came out of my mouth when it happened. We were moving all of our stuff down to our new storeroom, and I said to Eugene, there's a little scrub here. I didn't say there's a little scrub here to Eugene. I'm just saying that to you. There is a little scrub hair. See how beautifully hidden he is? We'll call this scrub hair Eugene. I'll continue my story once Eugene's moved off. See that very flat tail? He thinks we can't see him, you see. He is convinced of his own cryptic coloration. Don't move, Bunny, I can see you. And Karula ain't too far from here. Now it's a bird roughly this, not a bird, a mammal roughly this size that Karula's babies will first kill. But that will probably be in a little while. They're very fast, these hares. Really impressive ears, I mean they really are amazing. That nice huge eye to gather as much light as possible for the night time. That cryptic coloration means they don't go into burrows. Probably spent the day actually underneath this sort of Ziziphus bush behind which you can see him. And look as we zoom out how almost impossible he is to see. Isn't that amazing? Wonder how many of them we drive past during the day. Cool. Alrighty, on we go. So what happened was we were taking our stuff down to the storeroom. I said to Eugene, I said, is this fence live? No, he says, it's not live at all. So as I was handing a piece of equipment over the fence, I sort of pushed my leg against it. At which point, a very severe electric charge jolted through my body and left a small burn on my leg. The language that came out of my mouth and the volume at which it came out of my mouth was, well, it startled even me. So I had to apologize to everybody for being so foul-mouthed. I then made sure Eugene didn't get supper for the next 3 weeks. He thought it was very funny. Alright, Byron's back on Djuma. Let's go and find out where he is.
I've just got back onto Djuma, so we are cruising around. I've got this spotlight. I'm looking for any nocturnal wildlife. maybe we find a bush baby. I haven't had luck finding a bush baby yet, and James found one the other day, so I really would like to find one. Can't believe he's telling you about him being electrocuted. That actually makes a lot of sense. It explains a lot. No, I have also been electrocuted before from these fences around lodges. You occasionally don't see it, or you think it's not on, and the only way to test is if you touch it. It does give you a little bit of a kick. I'm sure James did say a lot of swear words when he was electrocuted. The blasphemy echoed through the valley, I'm sure. Scanning the trees for owls, anything that we might find at night. Another vehicle coming. Let's put some of our bright lights off so we don't blind them completely. Just move off to the side here quickly. It's easier for us, we're in a Land Rover, we can go anywhere. Beautiful evening. Just have a look at that color in the sky at the moment. Very, very beautiful. We've been so lucky. The last few days have been incredible. Great temperature. The days have been warm. And just this incredible color in the sky after sunset. Almost a orange, pink, purple, blue. There are a lot of different colors. Yellow. The one great thing about it being winter is because there is a lot of dust in the sky at the moment. When the sun does go down, you do see these colors a lot more. They become a lot more vibrant because the light moves through the dust, and then you get beautiful sunsets and beautiful scenes like this. Another tough day in Africa, hey David?
Yeah.
So a listener has asked me, what is my favorite thing to photograph? Sure, that's difficult, Alyssa. I'm not sure. I do enjoy landscape photographs, but wildlife in general is probably my favorite. You know what recently I've been working on a little bit and trying to get right is photographing birds in flight. So if a bird takes off from a tree, you get that beautiful wingspan, and that's not always easy, but at the moment I'm really enjoying that and trying to work on that a lot. But yeah, it's hard to pick a specific thing. Just wildlife in general, I suppose. Listen, I'm not too sure if you have seen, I like sharing my photographs with guests and let them view, and often, especially after trips, we go through photographs, great sightings that we might have had, and I put a lot of my photographs on my Facebook page. A lot of people just want to follow and see them, and it's Africa Revealed just on Facebook, and if you'd like, you're more than welcome to go and have a look at some of those images, and it's sunsets, everything from birds and animals, leopards, lions, elephant. What was that? I think it was just an antelope. Hang on a second. Just have a look here. Can you see it looks like a little steenbok? I'm just going to try and look with the binoculars. Yeah, it is indeed. Small antelope. Don't want to shine on them too much. Their eyes are quite sensitive to the bright light, but I just wanted to check that it wasn't something else. I just caught a glint in the eye. driven back onto Djuma completely now. We were on the main road there for a second, or for a few minutes. While I search this area, let's go find out if James has managed to electrocute himself again.
I have not managed to electrocute myself. It wouldn't surprise me were Wendy to electrocute me. Firstly, given the abuse that I've given her, and secondly, given her, well, sort of slightly unreliable age. Viam very sardonically and morosely confessed to me today as we were driving along back from Cheetah Plains. He said, "This car is going to short us soon." So I said, "What do you mean this car is going to short us soon?" He said, "There is a bent wire back here," which basically means that I could very soon light up like a bulb. So if that does happen, well, then you know that I've been electrocuted again, and I'm going to ask Kirsten to cut away immediately, because if the language that came out of me last time was to go out on live air, I don't think I'd recover from it. It would be very shocking, as Kirsten says, yes. Right, we've come down to the valley of the Great Mulwati again. Brian, can you hear that?
I can.
What can you hear, Brian?
The raging torrents.
The raging torrent. Here we go again. Everybody, I hope you've got your waterproofs on. Take a deep breath. Ah! Whoosh! 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 See how it jumps up and down, rolls and turns in the waves. Whoosh! 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 We made it.
Whew, what a rush again.
What a rush, hey? It's like whitewater rafting below the Victoria Falls. And we're back to looking for some chameleons and perhaps a bush baby. And perhaps Grula. Kirsten is very upset. She says we are not normal. Of course, I have news for her. If she thinks anyone in this camp, her included, is normal, then she is barking up the wrong tree. Never before have I met such a hodgepodge of eccentricity in one place. And if you can, Rebecca wrote a blog recently about a cake she made. The cake I thought was quite nice, everyone else thought was disgusting. But it was a sugar-free, carb-free cake, so what many describe as a fun-free cake. But she describes how these unlikely ingredients have been mixed together into something quite special. And she likens that to our little camp. So if you can, check her out. Check out her blog. I'm not sure where you'll find it. But Rebecca Christensen is her name, and you might come across her blog about the almond flour cake and the hodgepodge of lunacy that exists at the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is the camp in which we live. Brian, who is the chief loon, do you think?
You're quite a strong contender.
I think that's not really fair. I'm going to go with, I think Andrew was chief loon when he was with us, don't you agree?
Yes, he was.
Andrew was an impressive loon. Hello, Pallavi. Nice question from you about the camera person. And you are obviously a new viewer. The best way for us to show you where the camera person sits, of course, would be to find Byron and show you how his camera person's sitting. You want to know if the camera person stands the whole time? No, were Brian to stand, especially at 6'4", he'd bash his head on just about every tree we went past. No, they're sitting on a sort of bench, and the bench has 3 sides on it, so they can move around, and then the camera sits on a sort of central console in the middle. And well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll show you what he looks like. Watch this, everybody. I'm going to use technology. Yes, 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 I'm going to try and use technology. I can hear Byron blethering away from not far away. So, There's Brian Pallavi. There he is. You can see you need to zoom in a bit there. There he is. That's
right.
Brian there.
Oh yeah.
Let me get rid of those things. There he is. Okay, and he's sitting down, and there is his little benchy that he slides around on. There's me. Hello, everybody. And, of course, there's Brian. Marvellous. Byron, I can hear, is going up the road just behind us, so that's a good thing. He might bump into Karula there. We'll go around here, and we'll probably meet up with him on quarantine clearings. Chief lunatic. Right, let's go across to the newest lunatic at the asylum, Mr. Byron, Southern Sorrow.
A lunatic, eh, James? Oh dear, not quite. But maybe, I suppose you have to be a little bit crazy to do this drive through the bush all day. We have had no luck finding any nocturnal wildlife, but I'm not giving up just yet. It's too soon to panic. We've seen so much. Just try to turn these radios down. I've got a few voices in my head at the moment again. We've seen so much already this afternoon. It's been great, but it would be wonderful to end off with a little bush baby, or a genet, or even a civet. That would be first prize. And these drainage lines, these thicker areas are great for these animals, especially the bush babies jumping from tree to tree. David and I were laughing earlier. My multitasking needs a lot of practice, but I'm getting better at it. The driving, the spotlighting, talking to everybody. I'm used to just talking to everybody and driving, not really managing the spotlights as well. A little sad though, because this is my last afternoon and evening drive with all of you. Well, for now, I will definitely be back. But it's been so much fun, and it's been great getting to chat to everybody and getting all the questions. And tomorrow morning will be my last drive just for this stint. And then I'm off to guide guests down at Londolozi, which will be fun. Always nice to guide around that area too, very different. James Dungerman has asked what my favourite place to take guests are. James, it's a tricky question. I mean, the safari in Africa, anywhere is great. You know, you're always going to find something different, something interesting and something fun. Botswana is a wonderful place to go to. You know, it's very different. You get a lot more water around there, depending on the time of year you go. But you can get a lot of hippo, elephant, a lot of animals moving through water because of the delta. I spotted something up ahead. Not sure if that is a vehicle or if it's a vehicle. Bush baby! Bush baby! There we go! Do you see that? Oh, come on! Bush baby! Did you see it? Wait, let's see where it's gone. Got to see a bush baby. Thought I saw another one up ahead. Just hang on, where did this one go? They are so agile. So very, very quick. Hope you all got to see it. Just quickly jumping across the road there. And now it has disappeared. But wait, I'm sure there are one or two others around here. Come on. But we got to see one. I'm happy. That's great. Now I can go back and brag to James and say, I also found a bush baby. So James, getting back to your question, every area is different, and it's always wonderful to be able to take guests on a safari for 10 or 12 days where you go to different places, because we are likely to see different animals in different areas. Londolozi for me is really great because I've guided there before, I know the area. But again, it all depends. It's wonderful to go in search in different places, different areas. Anyway, I'm going to say good night to you. Thank you to David for helping me this afternoon on the camera, and the ladies in the FC and in my head. We'll see you all tomorrow morning. Good night, and off to James to say good night.
Lay down a beat, Brian. We just saw a bronze-winged courser, everybody. That was its call, but it's gone now. Anyway, I think that was quite good, Brian. Well done, very nice. Where's my spotlight? I've lost it. Did it go in here, or did it fly? Did it fly? No, it flied away. Right, well, let's go up onto quarantine clearings and see what there is there. The last few minutes. No luck with Karula. She might, like I say, spend the night away. She may just pop across the road as opposed to walk along it. She may be with the cubs now as we speak. Who knows? We'll check again in the morning, and indeed in the afternoon after that. And for the foreseeable future, every afternoon and every morning from then on. Not so, Brian?
Yeah, true.
Exactly. Very good. We have 2 birthdays this week, everybody. Kirsten McLennan-Smith is turning 18, I think, this year. And Rebecca Christensen, she of the Armed Cake, is turning... What is she turning, Brian? 51. 51. Right. So Rebecca's turning 51 and Kirsten is, I think, 18 this year. I'm, of course, being completely ridiculous. Kirsten is going to be 26 and Rebecca will be 31. I shouldn't have told you that because they're ladies. And apparently you're not allowed to say that about ladies. So my mummy always said. She'll be so disappointed with me if she's watching. I hope she isn't. Beautiful sky we've had today. Really spectacular. And again, filled with dust. Well, maybe just from the wind. I thought initially it was smoke, but I think perhaps it's just dust. I always love the August time, especially when the smell of the fires comes, or the fires in the old grasslands. Not going to be many this year because there's no grass. But it's always meant to me the herald of the end of winter. So there was some impala lurking about on quarantine clearings, but they seem to have been the only things that have come up here to look out for predators. This, by the way, Byron went on about the running. This was the road that we were running on today. You may see our footprints. Byron's closer together and very heavy, of course. He was very tired at the end. And thank you all for your very kind comments, saying you've had a wonderful drive. I must say, I'm going to be very sad when old Byron leaves us at the end of tomorrow. He's got to go off to Londolozi to guide for a month. And I'm hope very soon that we'll have him back for a little while. He does run his own company, so it's not like he can just sort of up sticks and come here, unfortunately. But it's been a great joy to have him along. What is that? It is an impala. Oh well. Right, everybody, that is going to be pretty much it from us today. I'm going to stop here, and so that I might greet you with politeness. Today I did a rolling stop rolling end during the show. and I felt it was slightly impolite. So a big thank you to all of you for coming along on the drive. It's so lovely to talk to you and have our conversations. It's just the most perfect way to spend an afternoon. Thank you, Brian, for your big effort. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Chelsea Byrne. We'll see you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning. Bye-bye.